How's it going, guys? Cody back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, as you can see from the title of the video, the subsequent headline and the pictures, this is a story that's coming out from South Wales about a prisoner, a mentally ill prisoner, throwing urine and feces at prison officers and a fellow inmate. So the headline reads, "Inmate attacked prison officers and fellow prisoner by throwing poo at them." As always, guys, link in the description. Aled Evans was put in lockdown following the deeply unpleasant incident at HMP Parc prison. An inmate attacked two prison officers and another prisoner by throwing urine and feces at them during a deeply unpleasant incident at HMP Parc prison. Aled Evans, 32, was put in lockdown at the Category B men's prison in Bridgend following the incident, which left one of the victims with an eye infection. Sentencing him at Cardiff Crown Court, Judge Michael Fitton QC said, "I must sentence you for 3 offences of deeply unpleasant nature." The court heard the incident happened on the 11th of January at HMP Parc prison in Bridgend. Prosecutors said he gathered urine and excrement contributed to by other inmates to throw at another prisoner. It's called shit parcel, right? Judge Fitton said the attack had been an air of revenge due to the element of planning involved. The court heard one of the victims suffered a short-term eye infection following the incident. Prosecutors said Evans had previous convictions for assault on a former partner, taxi driver and a police officer. Evans from Walter Road in Swansea admitted 3 counts of unlawfully and maliciously administering a destructive or noxious thing, namely feces. Stuart John, defending his client, said he was having a troubling time in prison. He said he was finding it difficult to access help for his mental health issues when he decided to take this course of action. The court heard he was immediately sent to the punishment block within the prison, Seg. One sec. Mr. John added he spent 1 month in what is known as lockdown, Seg. He explained Evans spent 23.5 hours a day in solitary confinement on his own in his cell, with no access to a television or radio, let out briefly to shower or to make a phone call. Mr. John said he had already received a significant punishment. The court heard he'd been affected by anxiety and depression for a long time. His counsel said Evans has started to address problems with alcohol and drugs and wants to be a positive role model for his son in the future. Judge Fitton described the incident as deeply unpleasant and noted that the prison officers were attacked while they were working. Evans was jailed for an extra 11 months. Now, guys, 2 ways you can look at this from a former prisoner's perspective, right? Either another prisoner has paid him a load of spice or whatever to go to pot, as we call it, where it's either urine and feces or shit parcel, whatever you want to call it, to go after another prisoner. So he could have been paid to do it on the prison officers and the prisoner, or it's just a sad case of his mental health deteriorating whilst he's in prison. Obviously, mental health services within prisons are so inadequate, guys. It's scary. Prisons are doubling up as mental health units. Why? Because it's cheaper to send someone to a prison, £40,000 a year, than it is to send them to like a medium or a high risk, like secure psychiatric hospital like Rampton, Broadmoor, Ashworth. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, the fact is, yeah, a mentally ill prisoner, right, who, in my opinion, mentally ill prisoners shouldn't be in the prison system. They should be in a psychiatric unit. But like I said, it's all down to cost cutting and money and something. I mean, to keep somebody in a psychiatric unit like Ashworth, Rampton or Broadmoor, £350,000 a year. Prison, £40,000 a year. Prisons are just doubling up as mental health units, guys. And like I say, prisoners like this prisoner, Aled Evans, are the most susceptible, most vulnerable prisoners in the prison system. Prisoners play tricks on them. They can spike them. They're vulnerable and they get taken advantage of, and bullying goes on. And like I say, you can say, oh, well, we'll give you some drugs or backy, burn, whatever it is, yeah, to go after somebody, to pot someone. And because he's obviously, he's mentally unwell, mentally unstable, he might have done it for that reason. He might have had a grievance with a certain prisoner and he's gone after that prisoner. But the fact is, you're putting a mentally ill prisoner in prison, right, where, like I said, they shouldn't be in prison. The mental health services are inadequate, and then his mental health deteriorates because he's not getting the help that he needs in prison, as it's addressed by his defence, you know what I mean, by his barrister. So what do you do? Do you blame him? Do you understand the fact that the mental health problems obviously played a significant part in this incident? The fact that you sent a mentally ill prisoner to prison when he shouldn't have been there in the first place, and then, like I said, he does something that he shouldn't do, obviously throwing piss and shitting at people, like I said, and then give him extra time in prison. Should have reviewed the situation and then got him the mental health services that he needed. But like I say, it's all money and prison doesn't work. And it's just, I feel I'm gutted for the kid, to be absolutely honest with you, because like I say, by sentencing him to more time in prison, his mental health is only going to go one way, and that is down. It's not going to go up, trust me. Anyone that's been in prison that suffered with mental health problems, like he said, he suffered anxiety, depression, you know what I mean? And then you stick him in prison. And like I say, they have a rougher ride of it than those that are without mental health problems. You know what I mean? For me, honestly, as my assessment as a former prisoner, prison starts mental health problems if you haven't already got them as well. If you haven't already got them, and trust me, a lot of them have. Like I say, offenders before they've ever been offenders, they were first victims. Many of us have grown up in care, sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally abused, mentally abused, physically abused, you know what I mean? Grown up in care, parents have had been addicts, alcoholism, they've struggled with alcoholism or addiction themselves, you know what I mean? And then you stick them in a prison. And prison doesn't work, and bullying is rife. And like I said, the fact he's got mental health problems, probably had a rougher time than other prisoners, do you know what I mean? For me, prison, guys, is just people treading water, struggling, treading water. Some people try and lift you up when you're down. Some people try and push you under. Some people just want to do their own jail. They're not asked about anybody else. Who want to just do their own jail. Some people take the piss. Some people manipulate. Some people bully. Some people help other people. Some people are a shoulder to cry on, because the amount of times I've been in prison in a cell where a prisoner's broke down crying because he wants to see his kids or he's having a rough time. You know what I mean? It's not to be laughed at the end of the day. And like I say, guys, 99% of prisoners are going to re-enter society at some point, and it's how we treat them whilst they're in prison that will determine how they act upon release. I'll leave you with that thought, guys. The link will be in the description. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Cody out.